This is a very exciting day. I'm in my new house, I'm in my new office, and hopefully this is going to be home to a wall of rainbow books. If you're new here, hi, my name is Pippa. I'm a disabled writer, speaker and content creator, and I've just moved to my new house in York. I've lived in York for many years now, and in my old house, I had a rainbow bookcase and it brought so much joy into my life. For me, due to my chronic illness, I spend a lot of time indoors, so I really try and pay attention to what makes me happy, and rainbow books definitely get a big tick in that category. So when I knew that this place was going to be mine, one of the first things I was thinking about is what do I want to do with my books here? And I knew that I was going to have a little bit more space in this study. And with my rainbow bookcase in my last flat, I had just run out of space. Hence why we're going for a wall this time. These are the trusty Billy bookshelves from IKEA. They're in the oak colour, and over the last few days I've been messing around with the shelves. I will show you the top, but I have just ordered one more set of extra shelves for each thing because I do want to divide the top one a little bit more. And I should say as well, I've deliberately done this so I've got more space than I need. This definitely isn't going to be full straight away. Hopefully not going to be full for a while. I am definitely not Jack Edwards, so that's definitely not going to be the case for a while, but I thought I'd rather have too much space than too little, because again, in my last place I was constantly having to rejig, constantly having to buy new things and like try and make it work while my book collection kept growing. So in terms of organising, I am going to do the rainbow books again. Last time it was all rainbow books. The only exceptions I made were I kept series together and I kept hardback books at the bottom. For now, let's say I think the bulk of it is going to be organised by colour. The fiction is going to be organised by colour, but what I want to do differently this time is I'm going to try and categorise some of the non-fiction. So what I definitely want to do is have a shelf for disability non-fiction. It'll be quite handy to have it near my desk, which is just there because I refer to it quite a lot in my work. And then with my other non-fiction, I might see how I can kind of categorise that as well. I might try and do a little poetry section. I don't have a lot of poetry, but I've probably got enough now to do a little section. I might try and do some sort of maybe like a little psychology section. When I visited the Welcome collection, they had a section that was kind of called Being Human, and I really liked that, so maybe that would be a good one for me. I'll show you what I'm working with in a second, but as well as books, I am going to have to use some of this for storage, so the bottom is probably going to be storage. I've got a few boxes from IKEA, but over the longer term I'm probably going to try and get some prettier boxes for that as well. I've got theatre programmes that I want to put on here for the time being, so I'm going to have a think about how to do that. And I've got some DVDs that are going to go on here as well. So it's definitely not purely books, but hopefully this is going to bring a lot of bookish joy into my life. And if you've clicked on this video, I really hope you enjoy it. Feel free to subscribe. I do a little bit of bookish stuff, but I mainly do accessible travel, chronic illness, lifestyle stuff, life in York. But enough of that. Let's try and make a start. So this is what I'm working with at the minute. All the books are in there, and the other thing I should say as well, I have an energy limiting condition, so I'm definitely not going to be doing this all in one go. There's going to be lots of stopping, lots of rest breaks. I'm going to try and make this as seamless a video as possible, but just so you know, behind the scenes, this is probably going to be something that takes me many days, and like everything I do, just in small increments and at a pace that works for me. Just to give you a bit of an overview of the room, I've got my desk there, and then the books are on this wall here, and like I say, I am going to get an extra shelf for each of these top bits just to divide them up. I think to get started, I'm just going to have to unpack them all and just try and arrange them by colour. I did try and have a semblance of being organised while I was packing, but I definitely got to a point where I was just trying to get things in boxes to try and keep on schedule. So I don't know how long this is going to take me, but I think this is the logical place to start. I'll start doing a separate pile for the disability non-fiction as well. Might as well do that while I go along. The other thing I should say that I've not quite figured out yet is I have a bit of a thing about books that are different sizes, and it's definitely a me problem, but Before, I had all the sort of hardback and the funny shaped and like the US editions. I had them on like my bottom shelf so they weren't intermingled with the rest, but I might try and do that differently this time. I might change my mind, and I didn't do this on my other bookshelf, but I might do one of the little shelves for my books, the ones that I've written. I've got very conflicting feelings about that. I don't know, but there's 3 here, but there's 4 books that I've written. They're always linked in the description if you want to see more about them. I'm going to give that one some thought. I'm not sure yet. Oh no, 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 no. The disability non-fiction is overflowing, which is a very nice problem to have, by the way, but no, that's not going to work. Right. Oh my gosh, that's 2 boxes. There are 9. There are 9. That's 2 out of 9, and this is what we're working with. I might have to rethink this. At the minute, what we've got is fiction being divided by colour. I've got the hardback fiction, which I'm going to do something separate with, and then I've got the rest of the non-fiction, including the hardback non-fiction, starting to be divided into piles. And I think I am going to have to start putting them on shelves. I don't think this is sustainable. So that's the middle shelf where rainbow fiction's going to go, and I think we'll have one of these for disability non-fiction. Which one did I just say? Did I say this one? I didn't. I said this one. I need someone else here. I need to be supervised. Oh no. Right, this is what I mean. This one's too big. So that's okay. That's all right, because we'll do some horizontal ones as well. That'll be nice. Tilly can be horizontal. Oh. Honestly, same. Do you know what? While I'm here, I think I'm going to put some hardback fiction on the shelf underneath it. I think that feels like a good thing to do. Oh, hang on. No, hang on. Hardback fiction's not going to go there. Could it go there? Oh, this shelf doesn't move because it's the middle shelf that came already attached. I could move both of these down one. Would that work? And then that would make them both bigger. And then I could do hardback fiction. I don't want to move any of them, to be honest. It took me so long to do yesterday and it hurts my hands. But I think we're going to have to, aren't we? I think we're going to have to move them down. Yeah, we're going to have to do it. Right, I'll be back. I'm going to go and have a rest first. Right, that works. Just need to do that another 4 times over. Oh my God. That took so much longer than it should have done. Disability non-fiction, hardback fiction. I'm going to stop there. I'll see you when I next see you. Oh, look at this, Ruby. Look at this. What's this? Look at all these books. You knew something was going on in here, didn't you? Look at all these books. Yep, she's found her bed. Do you want your bed? Hang on then. Who needs a library cat when you've got a little library dog? Okay, so it's a new day. I've realised I do need to get a bit of a shift on with these books. I don't think I mentioned this earlier, but I need to get a bed in here. So I've got a sofa bed going on that wall there, which means that one, I need to clear all this floor space pretty pronto, and two, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with those shelves on the end yet because they're not going to be as easily accessible as these ones. But as you can see, in terms of progress so far, we've got yellow, blue, pink, little pile of green, little pile of purple, all fiction, all paperback. So I'm going to carry on. I'm just playing around with colours. I might end up changing this, but I'm just going to crack on and actually get some books on shelves and we'll take it from there. Okay, that's made a slight dent in the colours. I think I might have to pause there for now because I'm thinking when I get the top shelf, I'm thinking black on the top, red next. So these are the paperbacks that are left to go on. They're a pile of classics at the back. And then these, dog not included. These are my collections and series, and the Wordsworth ones and the Puffin in Bloom ones I think I'm going to put in my living room. So I've got to find a place for Anne of Green Gables, Mallory Towers. These are some miscellaneous books I've not found a place for yet. And obviously I've still got all of the non-fiction to go as well. I do like the idea of having this little like graphic novel gifty type book collection down here. Technically this should be on disability non-fiction because it's by Kerry Burnell, but I will say I'm doing better with the differently shaped sized books than I thought I would be, but I just can't bring myself to put this one on. But I'm telling myself it's a children's book anyway, so maybe I can get away with putting that somewhere else. My best friend Izzy got me this book in 2010 for either my birthday or Christmas, but that was 16 years ago. It's actually sickening, 16 whole years ago. And I think even if it's just for the time being, I'm going to put the cookbooks on there as well. I thought I had more than this, but I did have a big clear out before I moved, so I think these are my only two now. I'm trying to make sure this video doesn't turn into like a massive like book tour because that would just take too long, but Debbie Tongue, if you're looking for either like a nice graphic novel to treat yourself with or a gift for somebody else, especially if they're like a book lover, for obvious reasons this is a really good choice. And also Quiet Girl in a Noisy World, if you've got introverts in your life or you're an introvert, this is absolutely brilliant as well. Really love her work. It's definitely a high pollen day in the UK today, so if it looks like I've just had an emotional breakdown, I promise I haven't. It is just the pollen. Also, I don't think you'll be able to see, so I probably don't need to bring it up, but I've had my dog, my very anxious dog, on my knee in the wheelchair today, so my legs are covered in red claw marks. I think before I really crack on with any more of the books, I might try and deal with some of the other stuff that's going on this bookshelf. Many theatre programmes from over the years, and I've got DVDs as well. And I think because the shelves on this side here, they're not going to be blocked by the sofa, but they're going to be a little bit more tricky to get to once the sofa bed's in. And I think I'm least likely to reach for a DVD, although I have still got my DVD player and I do still watch DVDs. Some of the things I've got on DVD you can't get on streaming services or anything else. Yeah, I think we'll try putting DVDs on the bottom too, and then we'll come to theatre programmes after that. I wish I could have an opinion on whether or not that looks silly. I didn't expect that I'd be able to fit them all in one, but I think for now that will be the way to go. I love an old British comedy. That's like my comfort thing to watch. So things like Dinner Ladies, Vicar of Dibley, like they are some of my absolute go-tos. So I've got box sets there, and then I've got my standalones there, and I've got my nice musical stagey ones at the front. And then that'll work well actually, because if I have the stagey DVDs there, I'm going to try and see what the theatre programmes look like on here. And this could be a massive job if I made it one, but I think for now I'm not going to do anything complicated. So these are my theatre programmes from over the years. I do still collect them to an extent, but not as seriously as I did. And something that really breaks my heart is that you don't get the physical tickets when you go to the theatre anymore, because it's also often on your phone. So like, is it this one? No. Well, that's a good one to show you actually. So this is from Priscilla, Queen of the Desert on Broadway. That's the one and only Broadway show I've seen, and it was every bit as amazing as it sounds. But the one I'm looking for... No, I'm going to have to show you that one another time. I don't want to mess up all of these trying to find it. My oldest ticket in my collection, which I think will be from... and it sickens me to say this, I think it will be from before some of you watching this were even born, which is actually horrific. But yeah, I save like the programmes, and I really miss getting the tickets and the little keepsakes like this, because I do really treasure them and I love to look back on them. And these were arranged chronologically at one point, but that was a few years ago now, so I'm probably due a sort out. So maybe this is something that I leave for another time, because otherwise I'm just going to sit here and chat about theatre all day. But yeah, all of that to say, that was a very big side thought, but I never found a better way to display these than in the magazine files, and I was debating putting them straight on the shelves without the magazine files, but I think for now, and because I've got those loose tickets as well, I think I'm going to stick with them like this for now, and then maybe that's a project for the future as well. So these three here are the theatre ones, and then this is my stuff. This is like things my writing's been published in. It's little like newspaper clippings and stuff from over the years. If I do a shelf that's just with my books, just with the books that I've written, I'm thinking maybe they can go on there. But I don't know if that's just gonna seem really icky. I might gross myself out with that. It's a very fine line between being proud of the things you've done and not. I don't know. We'll make that decision later, I don't know. Let's get these on the shelf for now. Those of you who are eagle-eyed will notice that I've just put them on the complete wrong shelf to the one I was talking about, so let's pretend you didn't see that, and we're just going to put them in the right place now. The light's catching them in a really nice way. I really like how that looks actually. Just push that one in a little bit more. Yeah, I can live with that. Switch the camera back on, because I've had a thought actually. If I do a little vanity shelf, I could just do it down here, because then it's not hidden away, but it's not also completely in your face, which I think is, if I'm going to do it, I think that's what I want to do. So, and by that logic, then I can just put like my freelancey like media bits, they can still go here. And then if I get my little book stands, right, hang on, she's having a thought. Right, I've found 2 of the 6, so we're going to work with what we've got. I'm thinking if there's room, maybe if I just do my two traditionally published ones. I don't hate it, but then I've got these 2 bad boys as well. So what if I just slot them down the side? But then are they going to look really like just randomly out of place? Right, let's have a look. Let's have a proper look. It does look a tiny bit random, but again, it kind of makes sense with the other stuff being there. Let's leave it for now and we'll see how we go. Here is the current sitch. Excuse the garden chair. It's all happening over here. Right, so TBR in my lovely little TBR basket. Celebrity non-fiction, poetry, plays, theatrical,
shenanigans. Non-fiction books that can't really be categorised, collector's edition, cookbooks, graphic novels. White fiction, oh, that's a problematic phrase, let's rephrase that. Fiction books with white covers. Disability non-fiction, hardback fiction, pink fiction, bluish fiction, yellow fiction, series. So in addition to the ones you've seen before, Hunger Games, Holly Bourne, Noel Streatfeild, John Green, random Holly Bourne, mate, but that's gonna... Right, hang on, I know what I can do about that. Just had a rejig. Holly Bourne Spinster Club is now there. I've got other Holly Bournes elsewhere, but that's the Spinster Club sort of follow on what happened next. Green fiction, orange fiction. Oh, that's a non-fiction. You don't belong here. Purple fiction, turquoise fiction, browny beigey fiction, multicoloured fiction, navy fiction, greyish fiction, theatre programmes, My Little Vanity Corner, DVDs. And that is the current sitch. Hello, you join me on my bedroom floor. It is the middle of a heat wave, but today was the least terrible day. It's currently 8:30 in the morning, so I thought I'll get in here now because the sofa bed's been delivered today. Garden furniture's still there, ignore that. We're focusing on the bookshelf for now, but in terms of what's changed since we last spoke, I've moved the fiction hardback to over here because I thought we've kind of got a divide going on here. If I kind of keep this more exclusive for non-fiction, that kind of makes more sense. Had a bit of a tidy up. I've got craft supplies on the bottom, but they're not going to be there permanently. Probably going to do something different with the storage. Found some really cute bookends that you can paint yourself, but that's a side note. I put the extra shelves on, but I've taken off the top shelves on both corners just because I don't think I need that space quite yet. So I've put something decorative up there and I've put something decorative up there. And I think it's time to finally get some non-fiction on the shelves. So the categories I've ended up with are well-being, like writing, career, creativity, psychology and neurology, and then I've got this catch-all being human section, which I have tried to divide up a little bit more but not really successfully. Like if I was really breaking it down, I could go with those as memoirs and Brené Brown is just her own category altogether, but I don't think there's really anything in that, so I think I'm just going to keep it as one. And I think if we start with being human, I'm going to go for this shelf here because the thing with the disability non-fiction is I'm already going to exceed this shelf. I'm currently reading another disability non-fiction. There are more coming out that I've got my eye on, so I'm definitely going to need more space. So I thought if I put being human on there for now, it probably gives me a little bit more flexibility to change things around. So let's stick them on there to start with. There for now. So next up, I think we will do psychology and neurology and then also well-being on one section. That kind of makes sense in my head. Again, the height of the shelves is going to come back and bite me because I can already see I've got 2 books that aren't going to fit on here, but let's just get these on and then we'll deal with that afterwards. This is one of the most misleading books I've ever bought. It's good in its own way. It was advertised, right, as the science behind trusting your gut feeling, and I thought, oh my gosh, that sounds so interesting. It turns out it's actually about manifesting, but it's got a little bit of neurology in it, and it was quite an interesting read, so it's going to go on here anyway. Again, actually, I don't want this to be a tour of disappointing books because there are many, many books on these shelves that have been brilliant, but this one as well. I waited so long for this to come out in paperback, and it's about the science of imagination, and I thought, oh my gosh, yes, that's going to be so interesting. And again, this one was a bit of a letdown as well. Right, that's enough of the disappointing book tours. All good things now. It's okay, these are the 2 that don't fit on, and just to redress the balance, these are 2 very, very good books. This one is about pain, and I was bracing myself for it to be a bit of an icky read, but I think it's actually handled really sensitively. And this was a really brilliant book that's actually had a lot of positive consequences on the way I sort of do things and look after my brain when the fatigue is at play as well. So really, I recommend this one to a lot of people. Now, where are you going to go? I think they're going to have to go on being human, which is just not the best fit, but I just can't see, unless Unless I did some, could do some horizontally. Let's stand back, let's have a look. I don't think I mind that too much actually, because it is quite likely that I will end up with more hardbacks that are this size that could kind of end up in the wellbeing neurology section. And these last ones that we've got remaining kind of broadly fall under career, writing, creativity, and they're all a wide array of sizes, so this one's going to bug me, but I'm thinking I don't want career and writing too high up anyway. Oh my gosh, my hand is shaking, I'm going to have to stop soon. So I'm thinking I might try them there where the poetry and plays currently are. If I bump both of those up one and try and put them in there, that could be a good place for them, I think. Okay, so this is how we're looking, and that for now is all the books that I have to go on, so I do still have plenty of space. I think I could just do with something going on there, even if it's temporary. Like I said before, these are the ones that are going in the living room, and also these ones down there, the collector's editions, but I might put the puffin ones on the shelf for now just to see how they look. Yeah, I think that looks a tiny bit better. So the puffin ones have gone up there. They've kind of got the matching bookends on either side. So yeah, I think that works. I'm going to have a think about what to do with this one, but I'm going to call it a day for there because, oh my goodness, it is getting hot. Okay, sofa bed is in and she's a chonky gal, but it's not too bad actually, and I do really like it. I was debating what to do seating wise because I think in an ideal world I would have had something that's a little bit smaller and a little bit neater. But I knew that I needed this to be a proper bed. It needed to fold out into a proper bed, not just like a futon or something really, really light. So there's a proper small double bed that folds out of here. If I'm being really honest right now, I was debating between pink or burnt orange, and I kind of wish I'd been brave enough to go for the burnt orange because I think that would have looked so lovely against all the books. But I'm happy with this, and I also think it'll look a lot better and I'll be a lot happier with it when I've got some nice like scatter cushions on there. Also, wasn't supposed to be doing this today, but I'm sat here looking at the colours and I'm not happy with what's going on here, so I'm gonna do a little bit of a rejig very slowly and carefully today because oh my goodness, it is hot. I just think it's got more potential. I think we could do better. Right, oh my goodness, that looks so much better to me. I'm a lot happier with this now. I feel like there's a bit more of a contrast going on with the colours, which is exactly what I wanted. I've just been faffing around really, just moving little bits and bobs, but I've also, again, it's probably not going to last, but I've stood up my books to fill these bits here, and then I've stood up a couple of the graphic novels as well. I'm going to keep an eye out for little bits and bobs I can fill the empty spaces with just in the meantime. I'm going away in a couple of days, so I might have a look in some charity shops and stuff and see what I can find. But yeah, I'm pleased with this so far. Oh, right, okay. Hi everyone. I reckon it's been about a month since I filmed the last clip in this video, and in my head all that time I was thinking, yes, I'll wait until the bookshelf is fully done and then I'll film a final tour of it all. But what I have since realised is that I don't think there's ever going to be a point when it feels definitively finished. Like every time I come into this room I tweak something else, I change something else. And with my old bookcase as well, like it got better over time. It started feeling more right to me and like the best it could be over time. So I thought there's no point rushing it just for the sake of the video. So here is the final iteration and the way that I'm going to leave things, and I'm going to show you around it a little bit. But before we do that, I am very, very happy with the cushions I found for the sofa. These were on sale at Next, so they weren't a lot of money, and I think they look really nice. I wanted something that was going to tie in to all the colours of the books as well, just so the pink didn't look as random, and I am a lot happier with this now. I am going to try and move the sofa a little bit more this way, so it's a little bit further away from the door and a little bit closer to the bookshelves, but I do need somebody else to help me do that, so it's not happened yet. So I'm aiming not to repeat myself too much from what I've already said, but if we start from the top left-hand corner, I've just put some decorative bits in there because these top corners I don't need for book storage yet. I've got my little Olivier award back there. I've got some paper flowers that I've just popped in this random jar. You'll see a theme of just like random bits that I found here and there just to help fill the space a little bit. And then if we move down, we've got my poetry collection, plays, theatrical themed books, and then I've also got my courage pills. These are from the Poetry Pharmacy, which is an incredible shop. Basically, you go in and they write you a prescription. So inside each of these little capsules is a line of poetry that relates to the theme. It's a really, really cool place. I absolutely love it in there. Moving down, we've got my TBR. This is like my sort of outbox, so books that I've not read yet before they go on the shelves, I like to keep them all in one place. I read one of Kay Tempest's poems for the first time in a book I got from the Poetry Pharmacy, and it made me weep, so I'm very excited to read their novel. Moral Ambition I've had to put down because I read the first chapter and it made me have an existential crisis, so I thought I'd better put that away until I'm in a slightly better headspace. No, let's keep moving. I don't want to make this too long. Down here, we've got the sort of career, creative, writing, development sort of books. I think I showed you those before. Down here, we have the celebrity memoirs. I might do something different with this. I'm not sure about this yet. Then down here is the sort of collector's books, the non-fiction books that don't really belong elsewhere. And if we move one across, the top bookshelves on both sides are still empty. They aren't being utilised yet. I might put something up there for the time being, or I might not. But moving into fiction, we've got the sort of creamy beigey fiction. I found this in a charity shop in Cornwall, which I was very happy about. My mum got me this little bookish hedgehog for my birthday a few years ago, and I thought he sits nicely along the sort of teal coloured fiction. I think we'll carry on with fiction for now and we'll come back to this bit later. So at the top we've got the black cover fiction, including classics. We've got the white cover fiction. We have some miscellaneous sort of like deep navy, black, little bits of red. Don't really know what's going on there. I tried them up there, but I think they look better here for now. But I may change my mind. Lovely row of pink fiction, lovely row of blue fiction, lovely row of yellow fiction. Yellow fiction just does something to me. I absolutely love a yellow book. Down here we've got the series. I won't go through them again because I know I've already done that. And then we go across to here and we've got brown fiction merging into red, merging into orange. I picked these up from a local business recently. I just thought that orange would tie in really nicely here. Here we've got green fiction kind of merging into one of my Anne of Green Gables collections. I thought that would work quite nicely actually. Like most of my series are together, but I've got Mallory Towers over there and I've got Anne of Green Gables over there. So sentimental childhood classics to like top off each shelf. I have to tell you about this crochet jellyfish. Generally speaking, I consider myself quite a sensible person with money, but I saw this in a craft shop in Beverley. I don't even want to tell you how much I paid for it. I just saw this little guy handmade in his little jar and he had to come home with me. Like, look at his little face. I actually can't. And we love to support an independent business. That's how I'm justifying it to myself. Purpley lilac-y books. This little mouse is from Castle Howard. Again, one of the things I just cobbled together. This used to be a reed diffuser and then I found some lavender in my craft drawer. I found some little flowers on sale in Hobbycraft. And my little thing, my mum got me this for a birthday or Christmas as well. I'm a very easy person to buy for, I think. If you get me something cute for my bookshelf, I'm like the happiest person in the world. Thank goodness for a lower shelf because it gives me a reason to sit down. We've got multicoloured books here. We've got navy books here, a little candle on the end. And then we've got hardback fiction going on here. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do when I exceed this, but I do try not to buy hardback. I do try and be very, very patient and wait for the paperback. But as I'm sure lots of you will know, sometimes the very best of intentions do not translate into actions when it's a book you're really, really wanting to read. And then the final shelf on the right, again, I've just used this as a bit of a decorative thing. Another paper flower. I absolutely love these paper flowers made out of book pages. And then the frame is actually from a shop in Malaga. I think I vlogged that a couple of years ago. And then I think I showed these previously as well, but I've just used my book stands to stand up a couple of books, including mine, again, just because I'm not actually utilising that space right now. And then just to briefly run you through the rest of the non-fiction, nothing major has changed other than we've got the sort of psychology, neurology stuff here, sharing the space with Being Human for now. This is my disability non-fiction shelf, and I've made the executive decision to also claim this as disability non-fiction because in the time since I started filming this video, there's been another 3 that need to go on here. So if the rate carries on the way it is carrying on, I am going to need that extra space. So This is reserved for disability non-fiction as well. In the meantime, I've popped the copies of my books that are in my possession but aren't my own copies. So if you didn't know, I do occasionally sell copies of my books on my website. I can sign them, I can personalise them. There's always a link in the description box if that is something you're interested in. And I take them to events with me as well. So I've just popped them on there for now. Yeah, I think my future self will thank me for keeping this space reserved. And then as for the bottom shelves, you've seen my DVDs down there, you've seen my theatre programmes here. And then this, I think, is going to be the bit that's still a bit of a work in progress because, like I said, I do have to use it for storage, but I have got some very pretty boxes now. So this is all a bit miscellaneous. I'm going to have to find somewhere to put my printer paper and stuff. This is mainly tech equipment. Genuinely can't remember what I've put in these two. But I do know that in these two pretty boxes here, I've got my junk journal scrapbooking stuff in there, and then I've got other general hobby stuff there. I've got some colouring pens. These are like my sentimental bits from like lanyards from like events and stuff like that. If you're in the market for really, really cute boxes, my go-to place is HomeSense. They are a little bit more expensive now than they used to be, but they do generally have a really nice choice in there. Honestly, I could have walked away with them all. I had to be very, very disciplined. So really, all I'm on the hunt for now is I will never say no to any more little decorative bits. I think I can probably do the boxes a little bit better. I'd like to get a few more boxes like these ones. And I'm happy with the cushions now, and I think just a bit of like artwork above, just some like prints in frames, I think would look really nice there. So I think for now, this is where we're going to leave it. This is the not final bookshelf, but this is the bookcase as it currently looks, and it is sparking joy, which is the main thing. It is so nice to have all the books back out again. I feel a little bit more like myself again now. Like, there's so much that needs doing elsewhere. I'm not even going to show you the state of the space out there. Yes, I'm very happy about this, and more than anything, I'm glad that I've left myself the space to continue developing this collection. That was another thing actually. Somebody asked me, would you just not go to a charity shop and just buy loads of filler books just to fill the empty spaces? And that's not really something that I wanted to do. Like, every single book on these shelves, with the exception of my TBR and a couple of the classics on the top shelf. Other than that, every single book on these shelves has been read and loved by me. And like, for me personally, it feels better to build up a collection of books that I genuinely treasure rather than just buy them for the sake of it, or just to fill the spaces, or maybe to make it look a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. I can understand why somebody would do that, but personally that's not for me. Yeah, so all of that to say, I'm really glad that I have got space for my collection to slowly and sustainably grow, and that I'm not constantly going to be worrying about making more space like I was in my last place. And yeah, I hope this has been somewhat interesting to watch. It probably may not always seem like it in this video, but I have really enjoyed putting this collection together. I have really enjoyed organising it, and I know I keep saying I'll change this and I'll change this, but it's all part of the process, and that's all something that I enjoy as well. If there is ever anything you want to see in a bit more depth, or any bookish videos you'd like to see in the future, like, genuinely do let me know, because that is something I can do. But for now, I'll just say thank you so much as always for watching. I really appreciate you being here. You can subscribe if you want, and I'll see you next time.